I woke up this morning and as usual I had my coffee, I had a shower. After my shower I had another cup of coffee and rolled a cigarette. Then I went outside my front door. I live in a sheltered housing complex and there's a sort of a garden area. So I went out just get a bit of air and stretch myself, and one of my neighbours told me that another of my neighbours had died during the night. His name was Billy, nice man. We weren't bosom buddies, but I'd see him most days, often have a little chat, a joke, whatever. My next door neighbour, my direct next door neighbour here, he died 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And I used to see him most days going across to the supermarket. I'd bump into him. We'd natter, bit of aimless chat, a smile, that sort of thing. Now, my other neighbour on this side went into hospital a few days ago with cancer. I don't know what the situation is or how serious it is. Now when I walk out my front door, I'm on a corner. And the first window I see, the first door I see, well, the man there, he died about 4 months ago. The next flat beyond that, but one, he died about 7 months ago. Now, one of the joys of living in sheltered accommodation for older people, one of the wonderful things is that if you're fortunate enough to live for a reasonable length of time, you can watch your neighbours die one by one. Now, this latest cluster of deaths, it's a bit concerning. When basically everyone you meet in the morning that you have your little chat to, they all die within a matter of more or less weeks. It's very disconcerting, very depressing, not good for your mental health, obviously. But in this sheltered housing complex, there are roughly 35 flats. It might be 36, 37. Ballpark figure would be 35. Now here's the thing. Over a quarter of the people living here now are foreigners. Now most of them seem to be nice people, good neighbours. I have no complaints. But I do have a problem that over a quarter of the people here now are foreigners. Now if you consider the demographics of immigration, most people immigrating into Ireland or England or anywhere are overwhelmingly young. Old people would be a very small percentage. So when you factor that in, the fact that over a quarter of the people here, old people, are immigrants, that's very telling. That's an indicator of something big happening in our society. Now, of course, with all of this death going on around me, I'm not feeling the best. My own health, I had some health issues, and I have one or two symptoms, let's say, which if I was to tell you, you would be telling me in the comments, oh, you need to see a doctor fast. But it's part of the condition of living here is that you're very conscious of your own mortality. But when you get a cluster like this, it's depressing. It's really not good for your mental health. And I cannot help, oh yes, I don't know if any of these deaths have a COVID element. Nobody has mentioned COVID. And of course, they're all old people and old people die. But I don't know if there is a COVID element or if we'd be told if there was, if that was an aggravating factor. But I can't help but think that as an old white man, and all of these were old white men, there are a lot of people in our society, including our politicians, who are quite happy to see old white men dying off. And I couldn't help but wonder if, if in 10 years' time, when 3/4 of the people living here, perhaps all, will be foreigners, would there be a slightly different attitude to people sort of dying and just being forgotten if there were foreigners? Haven't expressed that well, but you know what I mean. But yes, 1/4 of the people, over 1/4, are foreign. And that's, as I say, it's an indicator of something big happening in society, in our society. And that's really all I have to say. But, I'm very conscious of the fact that as an old white man, I won't be missed by, let's say, the nation at large, our political class. I don't matter. The foreigners coming in, they do. And as I say, this has nothing to do with foreigners as such. Most of the foreigners that I see here seem to be very nice people. And I'm happy to have nice neighbours. But soon, very soon, I would reckon within the next 2 or 3 years, white people will be in a minority in this sheltered housing complex. And, well, make of that what you will.